Are you getting distracted manifesting your soul mission? I'm going to talk about how to overcome those distractions. So, I have noticed that people are coming up with some pretty similar distractions being on their soul mission. And I'm going to cover three. So, the first distraction is people believe that they just have to focus on solving some external crisis, drama, or challenge that's happening in the moment. And that means that they just need to let go of or drop the ball on doing their personal development work and just focus on dealing with this external crisis that's happening in life. Well, I have news for you. The external crisis that's showing up in your life is a reflection of your internal crisis within you. And so to deal with the external crisis without dealing with the inner turmoil means you are either not going to get a full or complete result whilst trying to deal with the external crisis, or you're not going to fully learn the lessons that you need to learn in order to overcome the challenge that you're facing in the moment. So what would I recommend that you do? Look, I recommend that before you take action, you get really, really present with yourself, do some somatic body work to really get to the nitty gritty of what is going on for you inside. And this will help to temper, any action that you decide to take on the external world with more groundedness, first of all, more calmness, but also with some insight as to how maybe you co-created this external crisis in your life. And what can you do to rectify and work through and heal through your own internal energy so that when you come to dealing with this external crisis, you come to it in a much more resolved way. So the lesson here is, we can drop the ball and just focus on dealing with an external crisis or a drama. But to really be able to go through it and get the best outcome, you need to continue to do your inner work. Even if it only means that you find 10 or 15 minutes every day just to sit with yourself with the situation at hand. That would be my advice to you. Secondly, this one. I laugh because I've written notes and, every time I read this, I'm like, I just laugh. So the second distraction that we give ourselves to avoid being on our soul mission is, I just need to do more spiritual healing work. Well, no. Sometimes there is a limit to what spiritual healing work you can do, and you actually need to work on doing some human healing. After all, we are a spiritual being having a human experience in a human body. So that means that at some point, you're also going to have to learn and master what it means to be in a human body, which means mastering human emotions, thought processes, and triggers and blocks that come off. If you're having repeating thoughts about yourself that, I don't have clarity, or I don't know where I'm going, or I don't know what my soul mission is, and I'm just getting triggered by people around me. Newsflash, you need to do some human healing on yourself, not more spiritual healing. And if those of you who have done lots of spiritual healing still go to do the spiritual healing work, you're just engaging in spiritual bypassing. There are levels and dimensions of inner over and understanding that need to happen. It's not just all up here, right? It's through all the dimensions. That means through all the lower dimensions of your human existence. And that's where all the juicy blocks are. So you might as well face them and deal with them and learn how to be a human being and meet your needs as a human being, not just your needs as a spiritual being. So that would be my suggestion to you. Okay, so the third distraction. I'm just going to go with the flow. I'm just going with what I'm feeling right now. Well, it's good to be in flow and to be present. Yeah. And the other thing that we need to remember is that if we are always in flow, but we never give ourselves any healthy limitations, healthy boundaries, we don't give ourselves a chance to really reflect on, well, this thing that I'm being in flow with here right now, is this really working? Am I progressing? Am I seeing results? Am I getting some learning from this? And sometimes we just stay in the flow of things because that's our comfort zone. Not having healthy limitations, not having healthy boundaries is our comfort zone. And maybe what we need to look at is how potentially might we be getting triggered by having some healthy limitations or healthy boundaries for ourselves. All children or babies need a sense of security and safety in the world. And this is where the parents step in and make sure, well, the child doesn't put its hand on the stove and burn itself or run into the middle of the road and in the middle of traffic. So, having some boundaries is healthy. It's just working out to what extent, where the healthiness of the boundary is. So in that sense, being in the flow, I would say, okay, let's say you're being in the flow, you're testing something out to see if you're going to get more clarity on your soul mission, if you're going to progress on your soul mission. Well, unless you are doing regular self-accountability and reviewing, structure, by the way, that's structure. If you're not doing that regular reviewing and accountability, how can you really get a sense of whether you are progressing forward or not? So my recommendation is at least fortnightly on the new and full moons, sit down and see, okay, how am I doing? How's it going? Am I progressing here, or am I just distracting myself with this technique? Or maybe there's a technique that I also need to learn and embody to be on my soul mission path. So these are the questions that you need to be asking yourself. I hope that has been useful for you on your journey. And I invite you to, if you're interested in getting more clarity about your own personal manifestation hologram, then I encourage you to get my free video series, which you can get using that link down below. But if you want to have a conversation with me about manifesting your soul mission, then I've also put a link in the description box down below. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. If you feel this video has been of benefit, please like, share, subscribe, follow, all the usual juicy buttons to press. Okay, take care. See you in the next video.